Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The NBA is buzzing with the news that Giannis Antetokounmpo will be traded. Logically, several teams want this basketball phenomenon, and the Golden State Warriors will do everything possible to bring Giannis Antetokounmpo and Stephen Curry together to form a duo that will be feared throughout the Western Conference. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Stephen Curry together are capable of destroying rival defenses and scoring very high in every game. The Warriors have only 2 days to beat the competing teams and manage to sign Giannis Antetokounmpo. Will this dream come true? We hope so. The Milwaukee Bucks remained engaged with various Giannis Antetokounmpo trade suitors over the weekend, amid interest from teams such as the Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Miami Heat. According to ESPN's Shams Charania, the Bucks made several counteroffers during their negotiations with the 4 known Giannis trade suitors. Over the weekend, the Bucks remained engaged with NBA teams that have made aggressive proposals, Charania told SportsCenter on Sunday night. My understanding is they've submitted counteroffers to those aggressive proposals as well. Charania added that the Knicks, Warriors, Heat and Timberwolves remained the most aggressive suitors, but the Bucks have not closed the door on other teams who could make more compelling offers of blue-chip talents and draft assets. Bucks asking price in Giannis trade. It all comes down to the price point for the Bucks, added Charania, while noting that the Bucks are evaluating if it makes sense for them to trade their longtime franchise star by Thursday's NBA trade deadline or during the offseason. The latter move would bode well for teams that will be armed with more draft assets during the summer, while it may hurt the chances of the Warriors, whose offer won't improve come June and July. Every team that's in the Giannis sweepstakes has to wait, Charania said of the build-up to the NBA trade deadline. If it goes to Wednesday or Thursday, they're gonna wait for that point, but then there's a tentacle of other teams that have deals potentially lined up with them. Further to Charania's point, teams such as the Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs and even Oklahoma City Thunder could enter the Giannis trade sweepstakes depending on how they fare in the playoffs. All 3 franchises have the capability of making significantly better offers than the Warriors, Heat, Knicks or Timberwolves. Warriors to win bidding war? If a trade materializes by Thursday's NBA trade deadline, the Warriors are viewed as the favorites, given their ability to trade 4 first-round picks, 3 pick swaps and match salaries for Antetokounmpo without the involvement of a third team. The Knicks and Timberwolves, meanwhile, will need the assistance of a third team to acquire draft capital or even younger players, neither of which they have in abundance. The Athletic's Sam Amick believes the time is now for the Warriors to go all in on a Giannis trade, as they'd likely get outbid when other suitors get involved. It sure feels like now or never for the Warriors, who can offer up to 4 first-round picks right now and a couple of promising young players, Kuminga and Podziemski, who could be part of the Bucks' long-term future, wrote the insider. As for the Heat, their pursuit of a Giannis trade could boil down to how the Bucks view Kel'el Ware, Jamie Jaquez Jr. or even Tyler Herro as building blocks. The Heat can offer 2 first-rounders, but their true selling point is Ware, per multiple insiders. Antetokounmpo, a free agent in 2027, is expected to have a big say in where he gets traded. That's because he will be eligible to ink a 4-year, $275 million extension with his new team in October if a trade materializes by Thursday. If a Giannis trade occurs over the summer, he won't be eligible for an extension until next year, complicating matters. Shams Charania, Warriors among 4 teams leading chase for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Golden State Warriors, Knicks, Timberwolves, and Heat are reportedly leading trade talks for Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Milwaukee Bucks continue to engage in trade talks for star wing Giannis Antetokounmpo, according to the latest reporting from ESPN's Shams Charania. Charania reaffirmed other reports that the Golden State Warriors, New York Knicks, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Miami Heat are the teams most aggressively pursuing the Greek Freak. Over the weekend the Bucks remained engaged with NBA teams that have interest that have given aggressive proposals, Charania said during an appearance on SportsCenter. My understanding is they've submitted counteroffers to those aggressive proposals as well. The Heat, Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors, the New York Knicks, those have been the most serious suitors in the mix so far for Giannis. But it all comes down to the price point for him, right? A young player and/or a surplus of draft picks. So who meets that mark between now and the next 4 days before the NBA trade deadline? The biggest update from Charania's reporting is the fact that Milwaukee presented counteroffers to teams. It has remained unclear whether the Bucks would move on Antetokounmpo prior to this year's trade deadline or were simply engaging in negotiations to preview more serious talks over the summer. Countering teams' offers suggests a more immediate deal may be attainable. The Warriors particularly benefit from a more immediate resolution to the Giannis sweepstakes. Not only are they looking to revive their long-shot contender status after Jimmy Butler's season-ending injury, but they are one of the few teams that gains little added trade flexibility while waiting until the offseason. While several other potential suitors for Antetokounmpo would be able to trade multiple additional first-round picks or take on more cumbersome contracts over the summer, Golden State will only gain access to one additional pick swap. Golden State has wasted a lot of time chasing stars and refusing to invest heavily in secondary players out of a hope that Antetokounmpo in particular would come available. Will General Manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. actually be able to get this blockbuster deal done prior to the trade deadline in a few days? We'll know the answer soon. Warriors have just 2 games until a crucial Pat Spencer contract decision. The Golden State Warriors don't always need Pat Spencer to play big minutes, but occasionally, he's called upon to make plays when some of the stars are out. With Jimmy Butler's season over, Spencer is now one spot closer in the rotation to regular minutes, too. In 4 of the last 5 games, he's played single-digit minutes. But on January 26 against the Timberwolves, he played 34 minutes as others sat out. Golden State certainly trusts Spencer enough to keep putting him on the floor, and that raises a key contract decision shortly. Spencer only has 2 games left of eligibility on his 2-way contract, according to Spotrac's Keith Smith. That means if the former college lacrosse superstar plays 2 more games at the NBA level this season, he'll be ineligible for any more in the current state of his contract. The Warriors do have a path to remedy that. They could sign Spencer to a standard contract for the rest of the season. That does require open roster space, though, so it could come in conjunction with another Warriors move. It's the week for such moves, at least, given that the NBA trade deadline is Thursday. Injuries can also help create the necessary space. One way or another, the Warriors will likely get Spencer onto a standard contract for the rest of the season. There's always a chance it takes a few extra days to get done. But if Golden State wants to be able to use Spencer for occasional minutes down the stretch, it's a deal they'll have to figure out. Warriors gifted opportunity to trade for Lonzo Ball. Ball has had an underwhelming first season with the Cavaliers, but he has been a target for Golden State previously, including just this past offseason before the Chicago Bulls dealt him to Cleveland. According to NBA insider Jake Fisher in July, the Warriors would have been more open to a Jonathan Kuminga sign-and trade had Ball still been a member of the Bulls and therefore available in a deal. I think that's something that would have been more likely if the Bulls waited and had Lonzo Ball to send back to Golden State instead of that deal that they already made with Cleveland, Fisher said. I think that's something Golden State would have liked. Ball is on a $10 million deal and has a $10 million team option for next season, meaning any team that trades for the 28-year-old will have some flexibility moving forward. The 6 feet 5 inches point guard is averaging only 4.6 points, 4.0 rebounds, 3.9 assists and 1.3 steals this season, shooting a paltry 29.9% from the floor and 26.2% from three-point range. Even despite those lowly numbers, Ball's versatile skill set would be attractive to Golden State in their system, and would likely make him a rotation upgrade over someone like Buddy Hield. Could the Warriors flip Hield and another minimum salary, say Gary Payton II or Tracy Jackson Davis for Ball in a multi-team trade that aids Cleveland's payroll ambitions? Doing so would almost certainly require a couple of second-round picks at a minimum, something the Warriors may need to acquire from elsewhere given the cupboard is bare, especially in comparison to their first-round picks. Trading for Ball also doesn't make much sense in isolation. He's not going to make Golden State a far superior team on his own, or make them more of a threat should they make the playoffs. It might make some sense though if they do something bigger first, with all eyes centered on Giannis Antetokounmpo as the deadline approaches. If the Warriors can acquire the Milwaukee Bucks superstar, Ball might make some sense to help replace what Brandon Podziemski has provided in the second unit, assuming the young guard is part of an Antetokounmpo trade. It's certainly a supplementary trade target that's worth monitoring ahead of the deadline, with the Cavaliers firmly placing Ball on the market thanks to their acquisition of Schroeder and Keon Ellis. Will the Portland Trail Blazers trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo? No matter who the Bucks trade Giannis for, they are likely to be a lottery team in the near future. Unfortunately for them, with them having already traded many of their assets, they can't rebuild through the draft. That is, unless they were to trade him to Portland. Of course, there are other teams that can make strong offers for Giannis. The New York Knicks could trade star Karl-Anthony Towns or OG Anunoby and Josh Hart plus pick swaps. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors could trade up to 4 first-round picks and 3 pick swaps as well as Draymond Green and Brandon Podziemski. My money would be on the Warriors to land Giannis, but the Bucks may opt to wait until the offseason to trade him. Why? Well, teams will have more assets to trade, including the Los Angeles Lakers. They could offer 3 firsts and absorb him into their cap space. More competition wouldn't bode well for the Blazers, though they are a fringe Giannis team to begin with. Odds are that he is traded elsewhere and the Blazers continue to steadily improve internally and through the draft. Still, the picks that they own from the Bucks mean we can't close the door on a Giannis trade to the Blazers.